What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Heavy Wrench. Thanks for tuning in today. If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Stay along for the ride. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more videos out there like this. I did the time lapse of me tearing this thing out. Today I'm going to show you a few things right now, where I'm at with it, and a few parts and pieces, how it goes. And it's a power shift transmission out of a road grader. So I might be doing a time lapse of it. I might be doing some actual video of tearing it apart. But we're definitely going to show you what the insides of this thing look like. So stay tuned. So you want to talk about intimidating on a power shift transmission. The furnace is going to kick on here and kind of screw me up a little bit on the audio, but that's okay. We have all these solenoids up here and electrical harness. That's a pretty big connector, you know. I mean, it's kind of intimidating, but it's not. Each one of these solenoids, all it does is takes pump pressure and sends it to a different clutch pack. Well, these are your test ports to check to see what clutch pack is what. Now, these two right here are the forward clutch pack solenoids for sure. Yeah, it tells you right here what solenoids 3 and 4, which I believe, nope, I'm wrong. It was these two, I believe. I don't remember which way this was on the actual unit. It might have been these two that I was actually checking for my pressures, but I know main was over here in the center. So anyway, it does not matter what one's what and which is which, but either way, these solenoids control a clutch pack and they run through a galley. If I have my light, let me go grab my light. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back with the light. I don't know if that's going to help at all or not, but either way, you're going to be able to see. Anyway, lube pressure comes down here into these two center. Ooh, get the camera right, man. Alright, lube pressure. Let me try holding this right here. So you have lube pressure that comes down these two holes here that go into the actual bearings, okay? And then you have a hole up here. Yes, these two right here, get down there, show you. These two right here actually will engage or disengage your clutch. And I believe this is the shaft and this is the bearing that is bad. So we're going to step back. That top right one right here, I believe that this is the one that had the actual failure in it. So let's see if I'm right here in the end, and I'll do maybe a time lapse and show you what I do to tear this bad lad apart. So stay tuned. So here we go. We're going to be taking the transmission apart, pulling the parking brake off right now. That housing is spring loaded, spring applied, so you got to be careful to take the all the bolts out evenly so it doesn't blow off on you. Right now I'm getting some of the fittings out, stuff like that, so I can set it down and lay it flat. You're supposed to, they recommend using a test, not a test, but a engine stand type of deal, or trans stand, but I just thought it'd be easier to pull these bolts out and pop this off, which split the two halves of the case. Putting in my lift links now. Gonna get the crane set up, pop the top of the cover off. Here it is, whatever silicone or whatever gasket material they used, along with the dowel pins, were super tight on this thing. I actually had to really work at it to get the case to break free, but once I did, here we go. We're on the top of the trans now. I don't see anything bad on this half, but this is not the half that has the lube passages or clutch pack pieces. Here a couple guys are helping me get it apart. I actually had to pound that shaft out. So here's where I'm going to show you. I'm pointing to the, I think I point to the, where there's all the metal that's in the bottom of the trans. Definitely had some stuff grenaded. There's the clutch pack that was bad, and that's a good one. That shim is supposed to be press fit in there, and that's what actually seals on your shaft. Here in a second I'll go walk over and give you a good look at the shafts. There's part of the bearing laying there. So here we go. We're going to walk over. I'll show you a good clutch pack first. That's a good clutch pack, sealing rings and the shaft. Everything looks good. That bearing is obviously good on that one still. but needs to be replaced. There's the bad bearing, there's the rest of it, and it actually supported the weight on those sealing washers for who knows how long, to be honest with you. And that's where you started losing your pressure to your clutch packs, is right there in that seal. The bearing was actually cracked. It was going to get even worse than what it was if it kept going. So it's a good thing we kind of had the problem happen when it did. Here comes the filter.
Well, here's what I cut
just
apart
letting you
of
see
the
the filter
filter
here of what's in it, and this is the reason I took it apart and made sure, even though the oil was kind of clean,
it's all throughout the
came
filter.
back as a bad sample.
So
we definitely confirmed it here.
That's why I tore it out. So
I'm going to get into the next part of the video. Here is going to be me swapping over the reman trans, because we did the cost analysis and it went to actually, it was more cost effective to do a reman than it was for me to actually rebuild this transmission. So here I am swapping over all the fittings and stuff like that, putting new O-rings on. There's a lot of parts and pieces here to swap over, so it takes me a minute. Later on in the video here, I got my phone out. I take pictures and try to get the clocking right, so I'm double checking all the clocking on all the test fittings and all that stuff. Getting it back on. Harness goes back on now. It did come with a new trans pump. Here in a little bit, I need to move over the trans. The suction line is already on it, but the pressure outline going to the cooler needs to be swapped over. Here it goes. It actually had two fittings on it. Spun the trans around, get the front side done here towards the engine side. I actually counted all the teeth. I have had some transmissions before with a different input to it, so here I am boxing up the core, making sure that's all set, and taking it outside. Left the other one hanging. Here we go. I'm going to be setting it in here shortly. Right now I'm setting it in. I had a little bit of it took a little bit of time. I had to set it back down and get the angle right, then get my bolts started there on the top of the flywheel, going over some parts diagrams there, get a couple bolts lined up here, start shifting it back and forth, get it lined up square, and now it's all in, putting all the rest of the bolts in the bell housing underneath, putting those in, getting them all tightened up, come back through, checking my torque spec here in a little bit, and I will be torquing all of them here in a second. Well, I guess after here I set the engine down on the engine mounts. There's those engine mounts on the side here. I should be doing that shortly. I'm not really sure where I'm at in the process, but taking off them mounts, putting the trans mounts down where they belong. They go from sideways to flat like that. Now she's mounted down. Now I should be I always start them with a 3/8 or a smaller ratchet or a regular hand ratchet, all the mounts and stuff like that, just because I like to make sure.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Heavy Wrench. Today I want to show you a broken bolt I have here. It goes all the way through the frame rail. I put plates of steel around everything that's flammable-ish. Plastic fuel tank on this machine. Put plates of steel up here. The harness is kind of back here behind that plates of steel, so we can get isolated heat right here around this on this little tab where the bolt goes directly through. I may have to drill it out, I may not, I'm not sure yet, but we have a snap-on twist socket here. We're going to give it a whirl. This is the 15 millimeter, which it fits on there. It bites, but we'll see if that actually grabs or not here. Let's get to heating. I'm going to try to pinpoint the heat right here on this side of the frame to get it hot around this half, and hopefully that's enough to get it out. So I'm doing some fast forwarding here through the heating process. I'm trying to get that one edge heated up and good and hot, and the metal plates are doing a pretty good job keeping everything cool, but I'm checking them here and again, and we're going to try to see if that twist socket will work. I didn't get a whole lot of heat in that time, so we're going to let her get cherry red. I like to get it red all the way back to the threads if I can. That's usually the best success I've had, is if you can get 50% of that, actually 25% I guess if you want to call it that, of that outside housing where the threads are hot, you know, so that way it comes over. You can see there I don't have quite the heat penetration I should. I'm going to give this a whirl and see how good it bites still. Normally I use a pipe wrench, but these twist sockets, I actually borrowed them because I'm thinking about getting a set. Haven't decided yet, but by the end of this I've pretty well decided that's the next purchase I need to make, is one of those. So here I got one I'm pounding it on because one size, you know, same as easy outs, you kind of got to step up. But I definitely got some good pull on it, but the ratchet's not liking it. It's pulling pretty good, flexing. That's that extra long 3/8 flex head that I'm using. But you can see how it bit right into that bolt. So I'm going to go back and heat it a little bit more. And then once I get done heating it again here, you'll see you'll see how it comes out. Hopefully you'll take note and see how hot I have to get it here. It should show up pretty red here in a little bit. Once I get this cherry hot here, it's going to come out pretty easy with them twist sockets. I really do like them. I'm going to say it probably again in the video here shortly. But yeah, pinpointing that heat and keeping that deflection away from all your harnesses and stuff. If that cooling package was still on here, I don't know if I'd have been able to get this bolt out at all. I mean, I broke it off with a 3/4 ratchet. It just wouldn't come out. I really couldn't heat it while it was in there because there's harnesses right there, everything, so it was easier when I had everything laid out of the way to heat it up. So there it is. It's starting to get good and hot. I'm trying to get around that edge the best I can to get that 25 to 50%. And you can see how I'm heating, trying to keep that center essentially located with that point right at the bolt. So here we go. Tent number 2 I have red hot. Alright, so the squealing is overwhelming. I couldn't handle it much anymore. So I'm trying to delete the sound on this. Hopefully my voiceover does a good job. But it does come right out. There's nothing really too crazy about it. It comes right out here, and I'm getting close to the end. You're going to hear a little more squealing, but not too much. Stick along for the ride and see what it looks like. That was in there so tight that I broke the bolt off, and some heat, and there you have it, them twist sockets, snap-on twist sockets. I didn't think they'd bite that good. I've always used pipe wrenches on them styles versus drilling it to start, but heated it up, got it out. Pretty impressed. That snap-on twist socket must be worth it. It's actually their Blue Point. So yeah, testament to those. Got it out, but it did take quite a bit of heat. So now I got to douse everything down with water here before I go home and make sure nothing lights up, and we'll be good to go. Well, thanks for tuning in today. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, and check out these snap-on twist sockets. They're pretty nice. I'm definitely a fan now. Have a good day.